and I am first time DM. Um, I do a in-person game of Dungeons and Dragons every Friday night here in Florida, and as the name implies, I am a first-time dungeon master running a campaign. I did some one-shots. Anyway, so this isn't really a crafting channel, although that will be part of it. Um, this channel is about me going through the process of DMing for the first time this campaign. And as you can see here, let's see, I should center myself here. Sorry, I my set is askew. All right, so as you can see, I use miniatures and I print them and I paint them, build them, blah, blah, blah. This black dragon, Voaraghamanthar, a black dragon that I've been working on, right? And his wings needed some special attention to give them that leathery look and not that 3D printed look. And so I'm hoping, well, tonight I'm going to be working on this. I may be working on my revisiting of my gelatinous cube. I wouldn't say this was a success, but I think the next one I'm much more, I think I learned a lot on that, and I think it's going to be really cool. All right, so we're doing a black adult dragon here for the purposes of my campaign, The Tyranny of Dragons. And again, there will be spoilers for people who intend to play Tyranny of Dragons. So if you're a player in that, or you expect yourself to be, not a good place for you to be. Spoiler territory. Anyway, so I have been working on refining the wings, and now I'm ready to attach them to the body of the dragon. And this is going to be a pain in the buns, but we're going to do it. This is one of my, I think the black dragon is my favorite dragon, at least chromatic dragon. I like gold. I like silver. I've a late breaking affinity for silver. Anyway, so all right, so we're putting these wings on, and so I did some rotary tool, and there was just too many lines you could see from the 3D printing. I have a cubic mono or something like that, any cubic mono, and I do a fine print, but you could still see. So I'll file it down, and I think it makes it look really, really great. All right, so let's get this wing on here. These wings are really tricky because they fit. I have never found them to fit particularly well. You know, and that could very well be the abnormalities of however I'm printing it. It could be the model, and it could be how they sliced up the model. I don't know, and it honestly doesn't really bother me because I think it's part of the process. You know, I think whoever is designing these dragons that I do have, this is a rescale miniatures design, and I do license them to sell the resin prints of them, but I don't just sell prints. I sell the whole thing. It's a piece of art, in my opinion, and so This is the black dragon that I have on my Etsy shop, and this is an order that I'm putting together on stream. But it gives me, that an opportunity to talk about Tyranny of Dragons, and it indeed involves a black dragon. In some ways, it doesn't. Um, the players will come into his swamp, his lair, his territory, I guess I should say. And they are doing certain things with the cult of the dragon and this and that. There's lizard people, there's bullywugs. But this is the backyard of Voaraghamanthar. And nothing in the actual adventure says, like, oh, here's what happens when you bump into him or whatever. Um, they don't do that. There really is nothing. There's some background on him, I believe, which is good. Um, but as far as any sort of adventure hooks, maybe they have like a sentence or two saying, "Yeah, you could do that. That would be fun." So with my campaign, in Greenest, the very first, basically the training area for the adventure, Greenest was attacked by a blue dragon, and the blue dragon wasn't very interested in helping the cults of the dragon, so his heart wasn't in it, and he didn't really do anything. Um, Voaraghamanthar, though, I thought would be a better choice because either way, the dragon's not going to kill everybody because they're a level 1 party. So you're not going to have your dragon attack them. But, like, oh, hey, and now I realized that the blue dragon in the beginning of this adventure is also uh, does reappear in the adventure in the second half, actually. Um, but it's there's no character to it. It's simply a blue dragon that you happen to encounter a long time ago, and not really, you know, I mean, there's no character to it. Like, I think he has a name, but, you know, probably not much else. So I'm like, well, I don't need the blue dragon to have that encounter. Something else can have that encounter. Again, really, that one really isn't, the dragon part really isn't that interesting. Um, so yeah, so I decided to, like, I'm going to make it Voaraghamanthar that has that initial contact with the party. And I think I'm coming at this at the wrong angle, but I sort of feel like I'm stuck. Seems okay. Yeah, because one of the criticisms of Tyranny of Dragons, especially the first bit, is they introduce a bunch of characters that the book tells you are very important characters, and then the book pretty much forgets them. They might make a cameo here and there, but the buildup was like, these are significant characters, and I don't do anything with them. So what I'm doing is trying to build up a list of significant characters that the players will cross paths with, and perhaps have an evolution of a relationship. Maybe they start out as enemies, and maybe who's a spy, who's another spy, who's a double spy, that type of thing. So the Voaraghamanthar not only met them in Greenest, he was sort of humiliated by a first level character, which was more my fault as a DM, not using the full might because I just was bungling it. But the way it worked off, the party scared off an adult black dragon. So again, a major DM faux pas, but it sets up this relationship. It sets up why this dragon is so, angry with these particular people, and it sets up that they know each other, and they feel they outsmarted him last time, and of course that would make a dragon very, very upset. And so he has a little mission for them, and he's saying that if you do this for me, I'll make sure when all the dragons are helping Severin, there's not going to be any black dragons. If you do this for me, if you do this for us, um, you know, we'll sit out this fight, which is a major, major thing, especially in the beginning. And so that's the stakes. Now, then there is a mission to, to do that. And and it's something that actually my son and I are working on. It's a wholly original thing. The monster is a completely original monster. It's sort of Voaraghamanthar says, I need you to go bring me the head of this guy called the Maluka. He's like a circus carny type of creature. They keep at the tents. And so Voaraghamanthar says, if you bring me his head, I will, do all sorts of good things for you. Well, the irony is that the Maluka, this creature, this carnival creature, its head is a balloon. So if you kill it, the head will pop and explode, and there will be no head to give to Voaraghamanthar. So he's sort of setting them up. He's like, oh, yes, do this for me. You bring back the head, and I'm going to do this thing, this major thing for you. Well, the guy's not going to have a head. Well, if they kill him, now if they kill him, he won't have a head. Now, if they want to save him and redeem him, well, we also have a plot for that, and it actually will tie into one of my players' backstories. So it fits really nice because um, there's some people, characters who don't know where they come from, and so we will find interesting ways of them learning more about who they used to be. So there you go. So here is Voaraghamanthar, and he is the body is now fully assembled. I'm going to have to let the wings dry here. As you see, I'm going to have to do a good amount of fill work and sculpt here. You always have to make a decision. I found with these, like, where do you want it to fit nicely, and where do you want to sort of, deal with some holes. So I made some sort of opposite decisions on this one. I probably think the decision up here is better to give that the closer one. And I still could fix it. It's not a problem. I've actually done it before. But I think it's easier to sculpt seamlessly the holes down here and keep those muscles. And there's a fair amount of detail in there. But we'll fix that after it dries. And again, there's always going to be joints and seams and whatnot. But you fill them up and then you paint them, and then you don't see them anymore. And so this is the rock that he is going to be perched on. And sometimes it's so hard to figure out how it works. This guy, he sort of confounds me sometimes. I'm like, how do I get that last foot? I always think that might be backwards. I'm embarrassing myself. For some reason, this one, I always have a hard time figuring out how the feet go. Because there's just one, I think it's, oh, here it is. Is that it? Jeez, no. Follow the tail, David. I think, oh, is it up here? Maybe it there. I think it's like this. Well, there it is. That's how it is. I can actually do that now. Again, it's sort of a, so he because this paw is up, so he goes there. This foot, I believe, goes here, and then this foot goes here. Yeah, so it's up here on the top. So that's how you can see there. Yeah, let me try to lift it up here. All right, and again, my hands are all over it, so it's sort of hard to see. But you have to say that's a look at that. Look at that dragon. That is a badass looking dragon. Look at that tail whipping around like that. Look at these horns, the skeletal face, and bat-like wings, right? And I tell you, I just finished um, the series Alien Earth, and I tell you, it very much the alien, the Geiger alien, not the octopus, very much inspired my paint on this guy because I mean, aliens, right, from the Alien franchise have acid blood, right? What a black dragon spit acid, right? Anyway, so that I want to wait for the. I don't want to start adding too many things because I want the wings to dry fully to have a nice set before I really start mucking anymore. I gotta have patience on this. So really, what the other thing was to do the new gelatinous cube. And so what I do is it's just a resin pour with some skulls and things, and riffraff and weapons and so forth. Um, Problem in the prototype, they all sort of sank to the bottom. So I have a way now that will prevent that. And I think I'm going to make it. I'm going to make this one taller. We'll have a better placement of weapons. I'm going to make it a different color blue, very light blue, and almost, translucently, almost nothing blue. Better place the skulls and bones and things, and I got a shield right here. Um, Make it a little taller, and then the finish we'll have to see. I might do a lot of different things for the finish. That's still I'm not 100% sure on, but I think the prototype was a success, even though everything was thinking. Here you'll see these. Here's my semi. You can see it there. Can you see it? No. Sorry. It's hard. It's a skull. Yeah, maybe if I hold it close and I just stop moving. No. Yeah. It's hard to see. Especially so it's just primed. And priming these little tiny things. It's a pain in the butt. So this will be like a spear. And I got like a tibia. I got two tibias here. And I have and then I got another skull here. And each one of the skulls, this guy has his mouth open. I think this guy is dented in the head and no lower jaw. Problem is, right before I came on, I dropped the box. I knocked it over, and I'm missing a skull and a bone. And I don't know where they are. And I don't really want to look for them because it's probably too late for me to be on the floor looking for tiny skulls and bones. So Voaraghamanthar, it's the more lore, and I'm not even going to spoil this, even though I've said no spoilers. There's a lot of good lore on this particular dragon, and black dragons can be very fun. They're duplicitous. Again, this guy's going to be attempting to send the party on a mission that any way they do it, you know, he's not going to live up to his word because it's a rigged deal. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for liking. Thank you for any sort of. Did people share anymore? I don't know. I share with my fiance. Beyond that, it's a low key stream. We're building things. again, the Maluka, I'm going to be talking more about that side quest. I've actually, and again, not everything has terrain or miniatures in my game, but I am creating a mirror funhouse as the conclusion to the Maluka um, uh, interaction. And if it becomes a battle, then it'll be really fun for the players. If they decide to save him, then I will be sad. All right, folks. I hope all your rolls are natural 20s, and I am going to